Hi, my name is Rachel Bramley, and we're going to chat about my favorite brain part, the hypothalamus. So what is the hypothalamus? It is the homeostasis control center of the brain, and homeostasis is the healthful, balanced state that you want your body to be in. Now this has to do with hormones and your sleep cycle and like balanced eating, and we'll get further into that in a little bit. So to achieve the desired homeostasis, your hypothalamus acts as a connector between your endocrine system and your nervous system. Some of your hypothalamus functions that it can have an effect on are body temperature, thirst, appetite, as we talked about earlier, emotions, balanced bodily fluids, sleep cycles, which I also mentioned earlier, sex drive, childbirth, blood pressure and heart rate, and production of digestive juices. Okay, now we're going to talk a little more about the anatomy of the hypothalamus and where it's at in your brain. So on the left, you can see the whole brain image, and you could tell that the yellow part where it's pointing to the hypothalamus, that's like kind of centered in the brain that you can't really see and can't really tell if you're looking at a whole brain. However, on the right side, it is a cross section, and you can see right where the hypothalamus is in relation to other brain parts. Next, we're going to break up all of the hypothalamus information into three categories. It's going to be general, hormonal, and disorders. Just some general information. Let's talk about the separation of the brain. So there are three main categories of the brain. That's the forebrain, that's shown here in orange, the midbrain shown here in green, and the hindbrain shown in pink. The forebrain consists of the cerebrum, thalamus, and our hypothalamus. Midbrain is the tectum and tegmentum. Hindbrain is the cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata. So as we could tell from the last picture we had, we can kind of visualize where the hypothalamus would be in the orange section of the forebrain. Next, we're going to talk about the hormonal side of the hypothalamus. So here's some of the hormones released by the hypothalamus for various regulatory situations. Now these don't all get released at once, and like everything's happening, and it just is kind of what your body needs at what time. So there's thyrotropin releasing hormone, or TRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, GnRH, growth hormone releasing hormone, GHRH, corticotropin releasing hormone, CRH, somatostatin, and dopamine. So not a lot of those are very common, except for dopamine. A lot of people know that as like the happy hormone. It like makes you feel good, like you release dopamine after working out and after like something really positive happens. So it's a really important part of homeostasis and keeping your overall mentality up. So partners in crime. The hypothalamus works really closely with the pituitary gland. These two come together to help regulate many other glands that produce hormones around the body, thus creating a functioning endocrine system. And the endocrine system includes the adrenal cortex, gonads, and thyroid. All right, disorders. So this has a little meaning to me because my grandma actually had a hypothalamic tumor, and they were able to successfully remove it, and everything was totally great, and she didn't lose any function of her hypothalamus, which was incredible and insane, and she talks about it all the time because she's a nurse, so she is able to like just give so much information on it, and she said that she was so lucky. And so it's really interesting to see like all of the things that like led to her finding out that she had it, and things that didn't happen fortunately but could have happened. So events that can lead to a hypothalamic disorder: malnutrition, examples are anorexia or bulimia, genetic disorders, radiation, surgery, lesions to the brain, head trauma, physical injury to the hypothalamus. Some signs of the hypothalamus dysfunction are blood pressure fluctuation, blood temperature fluctuation, unexplained weight change, that's gain or loss, change in appetite, insomnia, infertility, a shorter stature actually plays a part in hypothalamic disorders. That's a good like indicator. Um, it's obviously something very small, but it can lead to the right diagnosis and delayed onset of puberty. So hypothalamic functions. These are some ways to increase your hypothalamic functions. Increase your chromium intake. Use essential oils. These have been not necessarily proven, but definitely shown. Some people have shown increased function of their hypothalamus and other brain parts with the use of essential oils. Eating healthy fats and getting enough sleep, that's extremely important. People don't really think about why we sleep, but it's to let our brain rest and to like kind of flush out everything like we talked about in class. It's just like a resting period, a reset start period. Try to reduce stress. This is extremely important, especially in college students. Like they're very stressed. Everybody seems to be very stressed, but just taking a minute for yourself can really improve your overall health as a person and your brain health. And then exercising regularly. Just like any other part of your body, it's important to exercise your body and your brain. Just remember that stress can be managed, and there's a bunch of resources and coping mechanisms for your body situation and your environment. It's so important to kind of keep your stress in check, just because it can lead to a whole bunch of disorders, not even just things that could go wrong with your hypothalamus. And finally, the hypothalamus rocks, so keep yours healthy and functioning correctly. Thank you.